Hey friends, so in this video I want to share with you 3 incredible books that forced me to take action this year, and I think we can all agree that this year has been quite a turbulent year for many of us. So let's get right into it. Before we start, I want to say I read quite a lot of self-growth books, and I've read about 100 books over the last 3 years, and one thing that I've realized through reading quite regularly is that after about 20 books or so in this domain, most books are very similar. You know, they echo the same messages, they provide the same amount of value, and you don't really learn anything novel or completely new. But these 3 books really forced me to take action as soon as I finished reading them in a way that made me realize that I wish I'd read these books much sooner. So that's why I want to share them with you guys today, so hopefully you guys can read them much sooner than me and gain a lot of value from them. So we'll get right into it. The first book that I want to share with you is this one, which is The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari by Robin Sharma. It's a really fantastic book, and let me explain why. And so the basic plot or the basic idea of the book is that we have a litigation lawyer who is Julian Mantle, and he's at the top of his game. He's the best lawyer you can find in the city. You know, he has the best house, the best car, which, you know, it happens to be a Ferrari, and he is living it. Externally, you would think, you know, this guy is the shit, but internally this guy was completely off. He was very unhappy with what he was doing. He was completely burnt out, and he really wasn't enjoying life at all. So you can kind of guess where this book is going, and so he ends up becoming a monk. So the main lesson that you learn from this book, and the main lesson that changed me, is the idea of the 7 timeless virtues of enlightened living. So 3 things that really stuck out to me from these 7 timeless virtues of enlightened living is the idea of mastering your time and finding time for, you know, a lot of different things and not just one thing in life, as well as living with discipline. So not letting yourself into too many bad habits, or not letting yourself lose focus on what's truly important in life. And finally, the thing that really made me think is this idea of finding your purpose or following your purpose. And yes, in this book, Julian Mantle was following his purpose initially when he became a litigation lawyer and living his life, but very quickly he realized, you know, that wasn't for him, or that wasn't the lifestyle he wanted, but he continued with it. And that's where a lot of us go wrong. You know, when things are not going our way, when things are not satisfying us, or, you know, we're not finding happiness in the things that we're doing, it's important to realize that and then, you know, realign or readjust or find a different purpose in life. And yes, that's something that's, you know, very easy to say but difficult to implement. So the thing that I did straight away after finishing this book is open up a page in Notion and map out the 7 timeless virtues of enlightened living for my own life and see where I was going right or where I was going wrong. And that really helped to navigate my life this year, because for me this is a very pivotal year. I'm about to finish my medical degree, I'm about to become a doctor, I'm about to, you know, take on a lot more responsibilities. So it's really important for me to make sure that I'm spending my time, my energy and my resources in the best possible way. And so one quote that really stuck out to me from this book is a quote that Julian Mantle, after he becomes a monk, says to his friend. And this is: "My friend, saying that you don't have time to improve your thoughts and your life is like saying you don't have time to stop for gas because you are too busy driving. Eventually it will catch up with you." So book number 1, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari by Robin Sharma. The next book that I want to recommend is actually a very short book, and it's Anything You Want by Derek Sivers. Look at that, that is tiny. So this book you can honestly read in about an hour or maybe 2 hours, and this book is incredible for so many reasons. So for anyone that doesn't know, Derek Sivers is an entrepreneur. He started his company a very long time ago, and then after about 10 years from starting, he sold it for about $22 million. So he knows a lot about entrepreneurship and success within business, and the kind of lessons that he talks in here applies a lot to me, because I'm trying to build out my personal brand and I kind of consider it as a business. I think to myself, you know, how can I market myself better? How can I reach more people? And how can I provide more value to a lot more people? And so there's a chapter in the book about making profit, and it's like, if you're not making more and more profit, are you still happy with what you're doing? And Derek Sivers kind of says, you just need to ask yourself, are you happy? If you're happy and the business is still providing enough profit for you to be comfortable, then you should just be happy. You don't need to worry about making more and more profit. And so it's after reflecting upon this chapter that I realized, you know, if I'm providing value to at least one person, then that's making me very happy. You know, honestly, when I get DMs from a lot of you guys saying, you know, this has been very helpful, I found this very useful, it genuinely makes me very happy. I'm like, wow, someone's actually learned something from what I'm telling them. So the thing that I kind of learned from this book is you don't need to strive for more and more. You don't need to be like, I need to provide value to 1,000 people, 10,000 people, and then just need to get bigger and bigger. Just be happy in your process and the value that you're providing, and that in itself is all you really need in life. And so here's a quote that I really enjoyed from this book. Just pay close attention to what excites you and what drains you. Pay close attention to when you're being the real you and when you're trying to impress an invisible jury. And so that's that. So the second book is Anything You Want by Derek Sivers. By the way, I'm leaving links to all of these books in the description down below, so feel free to check them out. And if you do end up reading them, let me know what you thought. I'd love to hear from you. And so the final book that I want to talk about is a book that I think I'll make an entire video on at some point. And it's this one, which is the Almanack of Naval Ravikant. I don't actually know if I'm pronouncing that right. It might be Almanack. I don't know. And so the reason why I recommend this book to a lot of people is because I think it has one of the highest value to words ratio in any book that I've ever read. And I think it's actually genuinely one of my highest highlighted books that I have on my Kindle. And so before we get into why this book forced me to take action, I think it's really important to understand who Naval Ravikant is, because without understanding, you won't really truly appreciate the value in this book. So Naval is the founder of AngelList, which is like a marketplace for angel investors for startups, but he's also the investor in a lot of IPO status companies, and he invested in these companies very early on. So that includes Uber, Twitter, and Notion. So he's a very good person when it comes to thinking about wealth and thinking about the creation of wealth, but he's also a very good thought leader and he's a very good thinker, and he promotes a lot of very good messages when it comes to happiness and reducing anxiety. And that's a lot of the messages that I got from this book. So I've already explained a few of these lessons in my previous video, which is 21 lessons that I'm taking into 2021. So feel free to check that out if you haven't already. But the one thing that really stood out to me from this book is the idea of 3 things. So it's about time, it's about health, and it's about wealth. And it's the idea that we can have all of these 3 things at the same time rather than, one after the other. And so after reading this book, that's the one thing I really reflected upon, and that's that, I want to live a considered life. I want to have a lot of wealth, I want to have a lot of time, and I want to be healthy throughout my life. And I don't think I've worked it out yet, and I think I'm on a journey of working that out, and I'll share more videos as I work more and more things out, because ultimately when I'm on my deathbed, I don't want to be thinking to myself, I could have done certain things very differently and my life would have been very different. And so that's why I recommend this book, which is the Almanack of Naval Ravikant. Please read it. It's a really fantastic book on why you should be trying to focus on building wealth and happiness throughout your life, and it's so value packed. Honestly, like every single page has something for you to learn, and it's such a fantastic book. So yeah, that's the final recommendation, which is this one, the Almanack of Naval Ravikant. So there we have it. These are the 3 books that really forced me to take action in 2020, and they're such fantastic books, so I'll leave links in the description down below. And if you do have any questions about any of these books, feel free to message me. So if you want to follow my reading journey and have me as an accountability buddy on Goodreads, make sure to follow me on Goodreads. I'll leave a link in the description down below. And so with that, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, leave a like and a comment down below, and if you haven't already, you know what to do. Please subscribe to the channel so we can keep growing. Thank you so much for letting me reach 1,000 subscribers very recently. It's such an incredible progress, and I'm very, very happy, and I can't wait to see what 2021 holds. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.